Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Dream Receiver Show. Today we have John Bokla, who is the owner of the co-working community center in White Rock, which is my dream come true because I had visualized a spot to work out of that was close to the ocean, a view of the ocean, and working with other entrepreneurs, and it's just been amazing. And lo and behold, when you put it out there and you have a vision, you run into the people that have a similar vision and has done something about it. Thank you, John. Now, I have to say, John has been watching us do this show, and he was very cautious with me for a while. So I'm honored and privileged to have him on here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes. And so what has inspired you to take all the risks that you've taken and just gone out there and done this?
Yeah, it's been mostly like some financial risk, but a lot of like time and energy that I put into it, and that's been the real risk. It's been a year now, and so a lot of time. And so what's made me do this is basically I feel like you get a lot further ahead when you're surrounded by people who think the same as you and are pushing the same direction as you, and I was basically I was doing a lot of work at coffee shops, and I was sitting beside a guy who's like, you know, hey, I got a friend who's selling a plate resort. Do you want to go stay there and do some video work? I'm like, absolutely. So I got just because I sat beside a guy at a coffee shop, I got a little bit of money and a free trip. And I was like, I need to create a scenario where I'm sitting beside a lot of these people all the time and building these relationships. And then so that was like my first driver, and then I'm like into sustainability, and like I think we need to start reducing our carbon footprint a lot. And so the mission of community co-working is to work local and live local. So I'm trying to make really inspiring workplaces for people to live locally and work and network with other people that think the same way. So,
well, that's great. And I admire you for that, to take it. And you've designed this place too, like all the decorations. If you go on the website, you can see each room with so much great detail. How did that come about, that you knew how to do all these designs and make it so special in here?
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to create a space that's inspiring, and so the kind of backbone to everything is I try to create a space that feels like Google, and I'm trying to make it everyone who's just anyone can feel like they work at a place like Google. So that was always the root inspiration. But yeah, it was just been, I've bootstrapped this with my own money, and honestly half the stuff is from the auctions, half the stuff's from like the thrift stores and like garage sales, and like I've just really done it, put a lot of work, a lot of time, and figuring out how to do it effectively. So yeah. So you also build homes. You're that's my
well.
Yeah. So I'm
and funding, and just amazing how you're doing all that. And I have to say that every guest that I've brought in here has said the same thing, and that is the energy in here. They can just feel it. They can just feel this sense of that. And again, that's your doing with your vision and mission and of all of that. So and
I mean, for your audience, I think like it's co-working is a really common thing. Now your city probably has one if you look it up, and to make your dreams become a reality, you gotta be a part of a team. You gotta surround yourself with people that are trying to do the same thing, that might have different skills that you might find very useful. And so with this place, it's about creating that energy, a space where you can feel different and feel inspired, and then sit beside someone else who also feels inspired. And I think that's for your audience something that could be just like that tipping point that could be very helpful is put yourself in a scenario where you're surrounded by other people who want to be changing their lives and doing something positive.
Because you've run across those naysayers that are like, what are you doing, John? Why don't you just go and like stick to with what you're doing that's bringing in the paycheck? And
yeah,
what are you doing?
Eliminate those people.
Eliminate those
just politely, very nicely. And surround yourself with people that want to move in the same direction that you do. I mean, obviously a lot of people have heard, but you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with most, right? And everyone's heard that. And like, I just feel like that's fundamentally a rule of life. Like, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with most. So if you're working at home, staying at home, living at home, raising kids, your kids are moving out, and you're at home a lot, figure out a way to put yourself in a scenario around other people doing what you want to do. And so that's, I think, maybe that little step, because I feel that if you're trying to make changes in your life, you should try to find the smallest steps that yield the maximum result. And so for maybe someone who's stuck, that might be helpful.
Exactly. And what about encouraging others that maybe aren't in that place yet?
Right.
You don't want to say, I'm not hanging out with you because you're not in that place yet. But
yeah.
So how do you kind of bring those people along? I
think you can't. To be frank, you can't. I personally believe you can't change people. They need to change themselves, right? So they need to change themselves. So for your audience, for your viewers, they're trying to make their dreams come reality. So if they're trying to make their dreams come reality, one of the things, we've talked about this before, but there's like a lot of things in my life that have happened. But there's like this one moment that I remember where I heard a quote, and it said, make thoughts become actions, actions become character, and character becomes destiny. And I just feel like that's such a simple way of looking at it, because I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And I talked to my dad about these ideas that I'd have when I was a kid, and like so many ideas. And then he's just like, just go do it then. Just go do it, right? And then I heard that quote, and it's just like, yeah, if I have these thoughts, I need to put them into action. I need to work hard, put them into action. As long as I do that every day, consistently, those actions will become my character. And as long as that I keep doing those actions, that becomes my character. If I'm doing this every day, eventually that's just going to take me to where I'm meant to be. And so make thoughts become actions, actions become character, and character becomes destiny.
I love that. And whatever the mind can conceive,
the mind can achieve,
or the person can achieve.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for
exactly.
Sure.
So it really is that positive mindset, and to be always on guard with that. So I've read a particular book called The Dream Giver, and in there they talk a lot about the dream stealer, or the dream, and it is that whatever the mind can achieve, or whatever the mind can conceive, you can achieve. That's
right.
It. So if you're strong in that, you can do that. And having a place of entrepreneurs like this, you're right.
It helps.
It's a good spine, a good backbone to that. So has there been times where you're like on that fence though, where you just feel like giving up and saying, you know what, I don't need this? Yeah,
I mean, of course. This place, of course, is every other day I'm just like, oh my gosh. But it's, if you want, like for me, I'm trying to make big steps, and so I've accepted that it is a roller coaster, and so when I think that, I know that it's just a thought, and I let that thought pass, and I don't bury myself in that thought. And so I think you're the last guest you had on talking about meditation. I think that's a really great way to kind of approach that problem, where you're basically having negative self-doubt is kind of the root of thinking that you should quit. So meditation, I feel, helps with that. And she was great. So if you haven't watched that episode, go back, check that out. So I think that's like one way to approach it. But I think just understanding that no matter what age you are, tomorrow's a new day, and if you have something that you're chasing and that you believe that you can do, you need to take small steps towards it every day. And those small steps lead to big results. And the key to a lot of things, like I just got a puppy, so I got a new dog. So we'll use dog training as an example. The first principle of like success, from what I found, is consistency. Mm-hmm. So consistency is absolutely critical. And if you want to do something, start tomorrow and do it every day. Just do it for 10 minutes every day. And if you do it every day consistently, it adds up. And so like for puppy training, we do fetch in the morning every morning at the soccer field, 20 minutes, and then 20 minutes in the evening of training every day. And like those inputs on a daily basis consistently yield huge results compared to most other puppies that I've seen so far.
It's true. We have a little Pomeranian, and it's so funny. Just this dog knows when it's 8 a.m., knows when it's 12, knows when it's 2 boo, we call it. I mean, it's just right on. And then 7 o'clock is when we go play ball. So it just knows. And then routine. It knows when to go to bed. Nice. She goes right into her kennel.
There you go.
At this 11 o'clock.
Nice.
So, yes.
Consistency, routine.
It's true. People need to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Need to.
Yeah. But sometimes it's challenging.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's challenging. And just accepting that it's challenging sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So how can people get a hold of you to come and work in this great space?
Yeah.
And
I mean, the best way to get in touch with me is probably Instagram, j.bokla, B-O-K-L-A, j.bokla. That's probably where you could get in touch with me. And then if you want to check out the space, it's community co-working, White Rock Beach, communitycoworking.ca. And
yeah, they have a tour where you can just click on there, and Candly or whatever that app
schedule
is.
your tours.
You can just come in and check it out. And yes.
Try to make it simple.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you for following your dream, because you helped my dream come true.
There we go. Thank you so much, Diane.
And thank you for tuning in to the Dream Receiver Show. Be sure to subscribe. Check out my website, dianehume.net, and be sure to check out the community living or community co-working in White Rock if you happen to be in this community. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.